Human behavior, especially in the realm of love, sex, and attraction, is far more mysterious, nuanced, and biologically driven than most people realize. Behind every desire, preference, and relationship choice lies a blend of evolutionary instinct, psychological wiring, and emotional memory. From subtle body language to subconscious mate selection, the human mind is constantly calculating, responding, and adapting, often in ways we don't even consciously notice. Let's begin with something deceptively simple: chocolate. Women who eat chocolate daily tend to report higher sex drives. That might sound cute or romantic, but there's science behind the craving. Chocolate contains compounds like phenylethylamine and theobromine, chemicals that stimulate pleasure centers in the brain. It's not just indulgence, it's chemistry. And over time, this small, consistent stimulation can mirror the emotional regulation and dopamine surges involved in sexual arousal. In other words, the link between chocolate and libido isn't just poetic, it's physiological. But desire is rarely just about what we consume, it's also about who we connect with. One striking pattern researchers have observed is that women tend to experience more frequent and intense orgasms with physically fit or muscular men. This doesn't necessarily mean six-pack abs are a requirement, but rather that strength and vitality signal evolutionary fitness, protection, and sexual confidence. It's about how a man moves, smells, and even breathes, all unconscious cues that influence a woman's arousal. What's interesting is that women may not even be aware of these cues consciously, their body simply responds. On the other side of the grooming spectrum, men have their own habits, or lack thereof. Despite the growing popularity of personal grooming, only around 16% of men consistently shave their privates. Some see it as a matter of personal comfort, while others might feel embarrassed or disinterested. But grooming can subtly influence how sexually confident someone feels and how they're perceived. Cleanliness and intention signal care, not just for self, but for one's partner. Now let's zoom out to global mate selection. Across nearly every culture and continent, women tend to gravitate toward men who exhibit traits like ambition, wealth, social status, emotional intelligence, and height. That's not about being materialistic, it's about emotional and psychological safety. A partner who can provide, protect, and inspire confidence speaks to thousands of years of evolution. And the height preference? It's not just aesthetics. Taller men are often associated with dominance and safety, primal associations that make a woman's nervous system feel at ease. And when it comes to cultural surprises, nothing quite tops the greeting rituals of the Kolibri tribe in Central Australia, where men greet each other not with handshakes, but by touching or briefly shaking each other's penises. This isn't done with sexual intent but as a symbol of trust, unity, and peace, something that reminds us how dramatically different cultures can interpret intimacy, bonding, and masculinity. Biologically, women's bodies are incredibly responsive during sexual arousal. During foreplay, their breasts can increase in size by up to 25% due to increased blood flow and tissue expansion. It's part of the body's preparation for intimacy, and it heightens sensitivity and emotional closeness. At the same time, 49% of men say that a woman's sense of humor is one of the biggest turn-ons. Why? Because humor signals intelligence, social ease, and emotional compatibility. Laughter, like arousal, releases dopamine, and when two people laugh together, they build chemistry that goes far beyond the physical. One of the most empowering facts for women is the link between masturbation and sexual fulfillment. Women who masturbate regularly are not only more likely to reach orgasm with a partner, but they also tend to be more confident, sexually curious, and self-aware. Knowing one's own body is an essential part of being a fully alive, sexually empowered individual. Now let's talk age gaps. On average, men around the world marry women who are 3 years younger than themselves. In the US, if a man remarries, his next wife is typically 5 years younger. If he marries a third time, she's often 8 years younger. This pattern isn't purely aesthetic. It ties back to biological fertility windows, social power dynamics, and subconscious desires for youth and vitality. Touch sensitivity also plays a fascinating role in intimacy. Women with more tactile fingertip sensitivity often report more satisfying and frequent sex. Why? Because heightened sensation creates a deeper feedback loop during touch, every caress, every graze, becomes more vivid and emotionally charged. Sensitivity isn't weakness, it's superpower. Then there's the world of fantasy and stimulation. Every year, over 20 million Americans view pornography. And men, in particular, report thinking about sex far more frequently than women. 54% of men admit to daily or even multiple daily sexual thoughts, compared to just 19% of women. This doesn't mean men are more sexual, it means their arousal system is more visually and spontaneously triggered, while women often respond more to context, safety, and emotional tension. But not all sexual behavior is healthy. Sexual addiction is a real and serious condition, comparable to drug and alcohol addiction. It's not about pleasure, it's about escape, compulsion, and losing control. Like other addictions, it rewires the brain's reward system and often stems from deeper emotional wounds, loneliness, trauma, or unmet needs. Let's not forget the hidden burden of unpaid labor. Globally, women still perform over twice as many hours of unpaid work compared to men, including housework, caregiving, and emotional labor. These efforts often go unnoticed but dramatically affect women's energy, self-worth, and time for personal development. The modern woman often juggles roles of professional, mother, partner, and caregiver, without rest or recognition. Even in love, logic sometimes takes a back seat. When people fall deeply in love, the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for rational thinking, actually shuts down. That's why people in new relationships often make impulsive, irrational, and even embarrassing decisions. They're literally intoxicated by love, a chemical flood of dopamine, oxytocin, and adrenaline that makes everything feel magical and chaotic. Sadly, gender inequality is still embedded in many legal systems around the world. In some countries, women still can't inherit property, open bank accounts, or make certain legal decisions without male approval. These systemic injustices shape women's opportunities, freedom, and safety, and remind us that the fight for equality is far from over. When marriages dissolve, women often suffer more financially than men. Many step away from careers to care for children and lose income potential in the process. After divorce, men are statistically more likely to recover financially, while women often face economic hardship, housing instability, and career setbacks. It's a painful truth that underscores the ongoing need for legal reform and social support for single mothers and divorced women. Now for a curious physical fact: the longer a man's ring finger is compared to his index finger, the more testosterone he was exposed to in the womb. This digit ratio has been linked to everything from libido to competitiveness and risk-taking behavior. A small detail, but a powerful biological clue. And here's something you might never have guessed. During sexual arousal, not only do the genitals become engorged, but even the inner lining of the nose swells. This odd reaction is caused by blood vessel dilation throughout the body. It's a reminder that arousal isn't just below the belt, it's an all-body experience. Lastly, let's talk numbers. The average man will ejaculate roughly 17 liters of semen across his lifetime. That's about 500 billion sperm. It's a staggering investment of energy and biology, all designed for one purpose: the continuation of life. And yet, in today's world, intimacy is no longer just about reproduction. It's about connection, pleasure, healing, vulnerability, and emotional bonding.